Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents A Year of Living Kindly, Choices That Will Change Your Life and the World Around You, by Donna Cameron. Narrated by Randye Kaye. Introduction. The world could use more kindness. Kindness is in short supply these days. It's evident on our highways, in crowded public spaces, in our political discourse, and in social and commercial media. In place of everyday courtesy, we encounter glaring contempt. Gracious acknowledgement has given way to disregard, and where polite conversation or civil debate once reigned, we are blitzed by name-calling, insults, and derision. Outshouting the other guy has become the strategy of the day. It doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel right. Beyond not feeling good, there's plenty of evidence that the unkindness and incivility that surround us are destructive to our health, our relationships, our happiness, and even our career success. And there's a mounting body of research showing that kindness improves health and extends longevity, strengthens our relationships, boosts business success, and contributes greatly to our overall happiness. There may be a few bullies and tyrants who scoff at kindness, viewing it as a weakness, but the truth is very much the opposite. Kindness is a strength, a superpower that has the capacity to transform lives and change the world. If there's going to be a change, it's up to us to make it. Creating a kinder world is something we all can do. It doesn't require rallying people or institutions. It's not costly. We can do it anywhere and anytime. It doesn't demand that we be smart or rich, or that we be articulate or outgoing. It only requires that we pay attention, and when we face a choice of how we will respond, we choose kindness. It sounds simple, and it is simple, but it isn't easy. We don't always pay attention to our lives. We often act out of habit or in instant response to a perceived insult or provocation. We all have our own insecurities that propel us to act in ways that aren't always compassionate or even logical. We get tired, we become impatient, we grow fearful, we see slights when they're real and sometimes when they're not. Let's face it, we're human. I've always admired kind people. I wanted to be more like them. It seemed to me that they travel through their days with a sort of grace that leaves pleasure and calm in their wake. It just feels good to be in the presence of kind people. Over the years, I repeatedly made a commitment to being kind. Sometimes it was even my New Year's resolution, and I was kind, until kind wasn't easy or wasn't convenient, until somebody or something pushed my buttons, until I felt threatened or insecure or inadequate. And then I spoke harshly or sarcastically or simply turned my back and pretended not to see that I was passing up an opportunity to enrich someone's day and maybe even improve the world. I settled for being nice. Finally, I said I wanted to walk my own talk. I christened 2015 as my year of living kindly, and to make it harder to let the commitment fade, I blogged about it weekly and invited people to follow the blog, ayearoflivingkindly.com. During my year of living kindly, I recommitted each day to being a kind person, and each day I learned more about kindness and about myself. Since there isn't a kindness switch, and I had several decades of self-centered niceness as my fallback behavior, I knew I would fail as much as I succeeded. I told myself, though, that if at the end of the year I was a kinder person, I would have achieved what I set out to do. As the year ended, I was pleased to recognize that I was a kinder person, and that kindness, while not yet my default response in every situation, was something I thought about daily and aspired to continually. I saw that bringing more kindness into my life had changed my life in both subtle and striking ways, and I also saw that becoming a kind person is a lifetime endeavor, not something I can accomplish in a single year. So instead of a year of living kindly, I have extended the intention of living kindly for as long as I am on the planet. This book recounts what I learned during my year of living kindly and what I continue to learn. I've tried to approach kindness as I've tried to approach my life, taking it seriously without taking myself too seriously. I wish I could tell you that kindness has become my permanent setting and that I am always kind. But that's not who I am. I am definitely kinder, and I am also happier, and I am committed to kindness. But I still have snarky thoughts, moments of impatience, and instances of obliviousness. I am not the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa in word or deed, but my world has changed very much for the better. Whether or not I ever become an unfailingly kind person, I will persist in this effort because the world is in desperate need of more kindness. And one thing I've learned with certainty is that if we are to create a better, safer, and more just world, we will do it through kindness. Are you sometimes discouraged by the absence of courtesy and consideration in today's world? Do you wish people were better able to assume the good in one another and act as if we all matter equally? Do you want to deepen your connection with life and also stand up for positive and constructive interactions among all people? If you share my belief that kindness makes a difference and can ultimately change the world, I invite you to declare your own year of living kindly. There are 52 brief chapters in this book, organized loosely into 4 seasonal clusters and 12 broad topics. You can approach them as weekly meditations on kindness. Listen to them all in a couple of sittings, or simply begin at any chapter and see what resonates for you. Each chapter includes a few kindness in action ideas to help you think about how to apply the chapter's concepts to your own life. Periodic check-in chapters help you assess how and where kindness shows up in your world, and where perhaps it doesn't, and set some goals accordingly. Listen to this book and respond to it in whatever ways feel right for you. There is no wrong way to be genuinely kind. Welcome to the kindness community. Part 1. The Season of Discovery. 1. Understanding Kindness. Chapter 1. Being nice isn't the same as being kind. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. Henry James. Stories of kindness are everywhere, if we look for them. Firefighters in Florida responded to a call about a man who had a heart attack while mowing his lawn during an extreme summer heat wave. After the paramedics attended to him and rushed him to the hospital, several of the firemen stayed behind to finish mowing the lawn and cleaning up the man's yard. A 13-year-old girl in Louisville, Kentucky, saw a young boy being teased and bullied by other boys over his tattered shoes. She grabbed a pair of brand-new Nikes from her closet and gave them to him. Officers in Manchester, England, responded to a call for help from a local woman, fearing that either she or her 95-year-old husband had fallen or injured themselves. What they found, though, was that Doris and Fred were lonely. The officers set the kettle on to brew and sat down to visit with the elderly couple over a cup of tea. Kind people go beyond what's expected of them. They go beyond the easy response to offer the best of who they are. They do it without expectation of something in return. They do it because of who and what they are and their vision of the world they want to live in. Most people would tell you, I am a nice person. I was raised to be nice. Be nice was one of my mother's frequent mantras. It was repeated along with other instructions that aimed to assure that Connie's daughters never gave the neighbors anything to talk about, and also never drew too much attention, good or bad, to themselves or to her. Sit up straight. Don't bite your nails. Be nice. These were the refrains of my childhood. My mother, while generally nice, was not especially kind. Nice allowed her to keep her distance from most people and avoid connecting or interacting at more than a superficial level. She was almost always civil, but effort and warmth were generally absent for all but the closest friends or relatives, and sometimes even then her kindness was restrained. A string of losses from early childhood on had taught her not to trust or hope for too much, or to set her sights too high. She lived with a deep regard for safety and a persistent fear of more loss. With my mother as my model, I learned to be cautious, reserved, and nice. But some years ago, I realized that wasn't enough. I wanted to be more than nice. I wanted to abandon lingering fears and set my sights high. I wanted to be kind. There's just something about kind people. By their actions, or sometimes by their mere presence, they make us feel good. They give us hope for the world. To me, being kind meant knowing at the end of each day that I had helped, that I was offering the best of who I am, and that I had perhaps made a difference. And it also meant spending less time looking for threats or failings and more time recognizing abundance and compassion. I saw that my life would matter if, at its end, people said of me she was a kind person. I could think of no greater eulogy. So I aspired to be kind, and frequently I was. But just as often, I was impatient, I was snarky, I was judgmental, I was indifferent or simply oblivious. Being kind, truly kind, is hard. Nice requires little effort. I can be nice while also being indifferent, critical, and even sarcastic. But I can't be kind and be any of those things. Being kind means caring. It means making an effort. It means thinking about the impact I'm having in an interaction with someone and endeavoring to make it rich and meaningful, giving them what they need at that exact moment without worrying about whether I get anything in return. It means letting go of my judgments and accepting people as they are. Kindness requires me to do something my upbringing discouraged. It demands that I reach out and that I take a risk. Nice doesn't ask too much of us. It isn't all that hard to be nice. In fact, it's easy. It's also benign, passive, safe. One can be nice without expending too much energy or investing too much of oneself in others. One can be nice without taking risks. Nice is holding the door, smiling at the cashier. Nice may even be dropping a couple of dollars in a homeless person's hand if we do so without looking him in the eye and saying a genuinely caring word. Kind is asking how we can help, offering our hand, jumping in without being asked, and engaging in conversation that goes beyond the superficial. All of these actions have an element of risk. We might be rebuffed, ignored, or disrespected. Years ago, I had the pleasure of knowing Dr. Dale Turner, author, speaker, theologian, and extraordinarily kind man. He always carried with him and handed out little green cards with two simple words printed on them: extend yourself. I've carried that little card in my wallet and had those two words pinned beside my desk for nearly 3 decades. It seems to me that the phrase extend yourself captures the essence of kindness. It also highlights the difference between niceness and kindness. A life of kindness is not something that I live only when it suits me. I'm not a kind person if I'm kind only when it's easy or convenient. A life of kindness means being kind when it's neither convenient nor easy. In fact, sometimes it might be terribly hard and tremendously inconvenient. That's when it matters most. That's when the need is greatest and transformation dances at the edge of possibility. That's the time to take a deep breath and invite kindness to dance. Upon starting my year of living kindly, I began to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?